I feel like, innovating and making changes to help improve people's lives is extremely important. And obviously branding, all of that is important too. But this is something that I feel a lot of people usually then, cut the spend down on, but is very helpful in the long run.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of Voice It with Karishma Shah. Today we have a very special guest, and he's here to speak about this fun brand that he started, which has so much of a nutritional aspect to it, and also another few aspects which he's going to elaborate for us very soon. So a very warm welcome, Devendra. Thank you for being a part of this conversation today. I'm so glad that you're here. For everyone who's listening, we have Mr. Devendra Chawla with us today. He is the founder of this beautiful brand called Prolicious. They are into making healthy protein-rich snacks, which also taste really well. So, hi Devendra, how is everything going and how are you doing today?
Hi, Karishma. Thanks for having me here today. This is really a pleasure to come speak to you on your channel. And I'm doing really well today.
Great. So, Devendra, tell me one thing. Firstly, tell us about everyone's wanting to know what Prolicious is about, and also, your journey, how you started it, what led to the foundation of, a company like this. Please tell us about it.
So I started looking into health and nutrition some time back, and I'm a foodie, and I love food that tastes really good. And a big problem I used to face was foods that I really liked eating, I realized weren't the best for me, and foods that were really good for me didn't taste great. So I thought, why not take food that we eat every day and keep it just as tasty and increase the protein in the food, because by increasing the protein in the food, it leads to higher satiety, which leads to weight management and avoiding of a lot of non-communicable diseases like diabetes. So that's kind of where we came from, and we started with a high protein khakra, which has double the protein of a regular khakra and tastes the same, if not better. And now we want to expand into more products.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing. Caught my fancy. The first one being that, yes, the idea that protein is so important. When we look at a nutritional aspect, counting the macros, or even with regards to when we're just mindlessly snacking on something, right? Because snacking happens like that. We're never going to consciously go and plan a snack or something like that. But in this case, what happens is it brings in that aspect. I feel like, every time that somebody is on the go, or, I did have some of my clients try your khakras, right? And the kind of feedback that I got was, it's really nice when you can kind of eat something which is also healthy and also tasty on the go, and you don't really have to put so much effort into prepping or planning it. So I think that was a huge aspect which I looked at, with your products. And the second one that you mentioned was, I feel like the taste aspect is so important. I remember that when we started also, you did tell me that for you it was so important to create something which was tasty, because I'm a Gujarati and I know the essence of khakras, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And when you take something which is so staple for somebody, and then you tell them that, listen, this has a health angle to it, right? And at the end of the day, if you're not going to deliver something which is tasty, that Gujarati in me is going to be like, no, I think I can make do with something which is more easily available for me, or something which is homemade, But I feel like you managed to do that with these two aspects in your product, which is why I really like it a lot. And, kudos for you for that. I think it's fantastic to finally create, which satisfies so many different angles.
Oh, thanks, Karishma. It means a lot to hear that from you.
Great. Fantastic. So also, Devendra, tell me, I'm sure that, when you were conceptualizing the product, right? And, now that, you're also venturing into different kinds of other health products and everything. I remember I had this conversation with you earlier, and I was speaking to you about how introducing a whole new range of gluten-free snacks is something that I'm absolutely looking forward to from a lot of, Indian founders and, young business owners. And you did mention that it's something that you're thinking about. So can you tell us about the kind of future prospects you have with the brand, the kind of products in line, etc.?
So we make sure that all of our products are high in protein and have close to double the protein of regular products in the market. That said, we work a lot with the nutrition community, and so we want to help make products that allow people with different eating habits and special conditions as well eat healthy and conveniently.
Yeah.
So we realize that there's a large part of the population that is now trying to get away from eating wheat. The most at risk in this population is the celiac community who can't eat gluten because they're allergic to it, and then there's a lot of people who just kind of feel a little bloated and so want something that's on the healthier side for their personal body, because nutrition is a very personal thing. So what we're trying to do is create these different cuts of products for people who need them. So we've got like a gluten-free khakra, which doesn't really spike the blood sugar. Similarly, we're launching a lot of salt-free products for people who have hypertension or may have some kidney issues and therefore want to eat a lot less salt in their diet. So we've created some salt-free variants for them. So like this, we just work with different groups of people, and they give us feedbacks on what they need in their diet, and then we try and make those products for them.
Wow, that's really nice. I like this fact that you said, and thank you for saying that, because I've been saying this from the beginning of my career in nutrition, that nutrition is so personal. It is such a personal aspect because I've seen it over a period of time working with so many different clients. When they come from different backgrounds, they come with different health ailments, and they also come with different goals, because not everyone has something which is weight loss oriented. A lot of people come in with lots of different kinds of goals and underlining issues as well. And one of the major things that I kind of realized over a period of time is that everything is so personal. You can't create a one size fits all program, or you can't create something which is oh, everybody can use this, everybody can do this, which is one of the things I see these days with so many health influencers and so many people who kind of try to give our advice, and they're like, oh, I've done this, why don't you also do this, and it's going to give you that kind of result. But it doesn't really do that, because your genetic makeup, your entire way that the body functions, your internal hormonal setup, all those things are so different. Your metabolism rate, your prakriti type, as far as Ayurveda is also concerned, right? These minor things, just two of those, there's so much more. But
Yeah.
all these things, I think, create a need for stuff where personalization is so important as far as nutrition is concerned, as far as health is concerned. So I want to ask you, when you started out making your products and when you wanted to start Prolicious, and you said that okay, let's start making something which is healthy, let's start creating something which has a higher nutritional profile. What was the kind of feedback that you got from people? What was the kind of reaction that you would get from somebody who was thinking that you were doing this, and they would try to come and give you some kind of advice about it?
So I have a property broker friend of mine, and the gluten-free thins product is actually tailored to what his specific need was. So prior to starting the company, I was talking to him. He used to go to a nutritionist as well because he's diabetic, and so he needs to control his diet to control his diabetes. And basically, he said that I have this big problem because I travel everywhere, and there's nothing I can eat on the go in the car that doesn't spike blood sugar. So obviously we didn't have the R&D at the time to develop that product immediately. So we started with the khakras, but then eventually we got to the gluten-free thins, and that product, because it's made mainly from dals, doesn't really spike the blood sugar because dals don't spike blood sugar. And so it's easy and it's convenient. It goes easily into his bag and can help him reach his goals. Similarly, we've had many people reach out to us who've been eating our products, who say, hey, this is great for me because I don't like eating something sweet, and I want to get my protein. So instead of a protein bar, I can eat this. This is like athletes and gym goers, and on the other end of the spectrum, there's people who have decided that they want to live a healthier lifestyle, and so they're starting to get on that path. And over there, we had someone reach out to us who called us to say thank you. And he's been eating Prolicious, and he's lost 25 kg in the last few months by switching his snacks over to Prolicious. So we keep hearing these stories now, but that story of my friend who's a property broker was one where we heard of a need and then we were able to resolve that. Similarly, we've come up with a pancake mix now with double the protein, which is just a fun product for kids. Mothers keep saying that they want their kids to eat healthier, but they know that their kids are going to eat something unhealthy. So we made a product that wasn't, quote unquote, the healthiest product, but it was definitely a step in the right direction that families can take towards eating better overall.
Yes, yes. Wow, that's nice. That's really nice. I think that's another thing where even the main facilitators, like it could be a mother, it could be a father, whoever is responsible for kind of creating a healthy lifestyle in the house. I think it's so much important that now even they are thinking about the fact that, oh, not only will I take care of myself, I also take care of the kind of diet that my kids are eating. I'm also going to take care of the diet that my husband is eating, because health, as I said, is something which is it begins internally first and then it starts showing externally. So I think that's fantastic. Also, Devendra, so did you face any kind of hurdles or issues or something once you started getting into the health-based industry?
Yeah, I mean, with any startup journey, there's a lot of hurdles. Before we move into that, actually, there's an interesting topic that you brought up where you said that if someone comes in, they try and make the entire family healthy. So I actually want to know, because you interact with a lot of families on their health goals. One of the big things is the person who comes in for the meeting definitely wants to change, but how do you kind of get the buy-in? Because food, while it is personal, is also like a family activity and a household decision. So how do you kind of get the behavioral change in the entire household as opposed to just the one individual, Karishma?
Yes, fantastic. Thank you. I think that's a very important question, and it's something which we need to start understanding, because one small change in even one family member's behavior or way of leading a lifestyle has a cyclic effect in the house. Let me give you an example of how it starts. Okay, so for example, we have a client who is a mother of two children. Okay, and she lives in this household where her mother-in-law, father-in-law, the two kids, and her husband, they all share a living space together. And she comes to me and she says, I want to start eating healthy. I want to start having a diet. But the thing is, I don't want to make separate things for everybody, because I'm the only one who's cooking, right? And it's exhausting for me, and I can completely understand it. Of course, it's exhausting, right? Because you're catering to so many more people. The idea here is now you start understanding that, every single thing that she's going to cook in this house, not only for herself, it's actually going to be going to all of the family members. So what you keep in mind is, you're not going to give her something where she is going to just rely on 45 ingredients. She's going to start consuming it. It doesn't work that way, right? Because you have to understand there are different age groups that are going to be eating that food. So we incorporate a plan in a way where we're not compromising on our macros. We're not compromising on our micros also, right? But we're making sure there's variety in the food items, so that a child can get the kind of pasta he wants to eat, but in a more healthier, sustainable fashion, right? And there's not too much of maida and cheese and everything, but he's still enjoying that pasta occasionally, right? She gets to eat what she likes to eat as well, right? There are options wherein the elders in the family are not going to feel like, oh, this is too modernized, I don't want to do this, I want to eat simple stuff. So the balance of creating a meal plan or giving something to somebody where every single person gets a taste of their own thing, but then they're also adapting because they know she's trying to create a lifestyle change for herself, right? They are going to support her. They are going to understand that. And this is one scenario where you get support. The second scenario is, let's say, for example, where you don't get support, right? What you do is, this mother then starts creating things like she's made a smoothie for herself in the morning. Let's just say, for example, she was used to waking up in the morning and eating leftover roti along with her chai for breakfast. Okay, just as an example. But now she substitutes it with a fresh smoothie which she created within 5 minutes. She's added, a few different things like bananas, oats, cocoa powder, some peanut butter inside, added maybe um, some kind of a powder to it. Wherein, she's like, if I want to put a protein powder, even if I don't want to put it, it's fine, right? Now she's created this and she's sipping on this or drinking this every morning. Okay. Now the children are going to be intrigued with what is mom is drinking, right? Or the husband is also going to ask, like, okay, this is a new thing that you are doing. What is it? And then they kind of see her repeatedly do it. They're like, oh, maybe it's just going to stay for 4 to 5 days, or maybe it's just going to stay for 2, 3 days. But she gets used to it and she understands the effects that are happening to her body because of the change. As soon as the human mentality is like this, the minute somebody else close to you starts progressing, you're thinking, Arey, how is this person doing this?
Right. Yeah.
I should also be doing this to progress in my life.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you get support, fantastic. But if you don't get support, create an example of yourself. And slowly the world starts responding to it, and they all want to know what is the secret of your glow? What is the secret of your weight loss? What is the secret of actually feeling so much more energetic?
Right.
And then they start wanting to do that, So it's this thing where I've realized that, again, one size cannot fit all, but you need to give them a solution which suits their environment, which suits the way that everybody's thinking in their family and the way that person is thinking themselves.
Thanks for that. I actually learned a lot from what you just told me.
I'm glad. Thank you. Also, so Devendra, tell me that, you mentioned that you will tell us about, what were the kind of, hurdles that you faced
Right.
when you started the brand. Also, when you entered, um, we look at the health industry with a lot of, it's so sad to say, but we look at it with a very, like, ऐसा ही होना चाहिए तो ही healthy होगा, ऐसा ही होना चाहिए setup, ऐसा ही pattern होना चाहिए, then only something is going to fit the bill of fitting into a health sector, right? As per popular belief. So tell us, what are the kind of, things that you faced? What are the kind of things that you went through, if anything happened at all?
Yeah, so I mean, in startup journey, there are a million hurdles. The first is finding product market fit and figuring out what to do, right? So when we started, there was nothing, right? There was no product, there was no technology, there was nothing. So first we had to invent the technology, and we didn't have any like lab or anything like that at the time. So it's like, you hear about some guy in Gujarat who is doing something cool. So go visit him, take the bus, go somewhere else and meet everyone and understand what exists, and then find a way to make an initial product, then test it. So like when we started, we actually made a protein bar first. And then we realized that, no one's eating protein bars. People are eating Indian snacks and chips. This is what people are eating. So then we were like, okay, cool. So maybe not protein bar, but why don't we put protein into Indian food? Then after that, now we have a product, right? But we need to manufacture it. So then we had to find a personal manufacturer for us.
Yes.
So that was the whole process, especially because this was during the lockdown in COVID.
Yes.
So finding a manufacturer was very difficult. And then once we found a manufacturer, it's how do we protect our IP, because everyone just wants to copy everything. And how do we get the quality in the product, and how do we make sure we can get it manufactured when we want? So then we wanted to give a good service to the customer. So then we had to set up a factory. Then once we set up the factory, we had to sell a lot more product because we weren't producing small batches any longer.
Wow, it's an end cycle, isn't it?
So yeah, there's a lot of chicken and egg that keeps happening. On Saturday, actually, we just finished setting up our R&D lab and factory. I'd love to host you there sometime.
Wow, lovely.
So now we do R&D into the plant-based protein space, and then we use this R&D to create better products, to create this protein through the day story, so that people can eat the foods they love morning to night, but also get the protein they require in the day. Yes. So that's what we've built the lab for now, and we've launched chilla mix and pancake mix last Monday, and in another 3 weeks we're launching some dinner options of pasta and noodles as well. So now the hurdle that we're trying to cross next is how do we build a team that can really build the branding, the sales, and take this to the next level and become a professional company. So now we're in that team building phase to move into the growth phase. So that's the current hurdle as well. And anyone listening in, if you're interested in working on this, please reach out to me on LinkedIn or email or something.
Wow, that is so sweet. That's really nice. That's really, really nice. I feel like, it's so cool to kind of like, that's the beauty about the whole new age of entrepreneurs. I feel like, so open, so candid about everything, You want help, you ask for it. You don't need to create big campaigns, or you don't need to like, go and find some recruitment agency to get work these days or get people on board these days. It's something as simple as just asking for it, and then, it's going to come towards you. I think that's brilliant. And with all the new progress that's happening, all the best for it. I'm absolutely looking forward to see all the new products that you come up with.
Oh, thank you so much. Next time you're in Bombay, please come by our office and check out the lab.
I will. I would love to. I feel like, it's so nice that you set up something which is so important, the R&D team. I feel like, especially with the health sector, the new progress that we do, right? All the single elements which need to come together to create something big start from research perspective, right? And this I because I'm constantly studying, I'm constantly upgrading my degrees as well. So I understand the need for having a very top of art research team, so that you can come up with new things and still not compromise on anything else. So I feel like all the best for the research thing also. I feel like every health-based company, everybody should have a research team and people's experts on board who can kind of, contribute to the journey of that final end magic, which then reaches people in the form of products.
Thanks, Karishma. Yeah, I feel like innovating and making changes to help improve people's lives is extremely important, and obviously branding, all of that is important too. But this is something that I feel a lot of people usually then cut the spend down on, but is very helpful in the long run.
Yes, you've created such a nice brand with Prolicious. You've put in all these, difficult hours and organizing and building it from scratch. So towards the end, Devendra, would you have any advice or any kind of um, I would like to call it the golden words, to anybody who's listening and who wants to start a project of their own, who wants to enter the health space as far as food is concerned or any lifestyle product is concerned, or just anybody listening who would want to kind of just start something on their own. Following so many different people these days is important, because you can get inspiration, you can get motivation from there. But if there's just something which would kind of be the last takeaway for you.
Associate with good people. So I have a lot of mentors, and I'm very grateful for having them. And they always point me in the right direction. And be passionate. So if you're passionate, that like is infectious. It gets into other people too, and then they get excited. And then everyone wants to do that thing. So yeah. So those would be the two. Like, associate with good people and be passionate.
Wow, those are beautiful. I think that's really nice. I kind of resonate with it as well, because I wouldn't be doing anything that I was doing if I wasn't passionate about it, right? I mean, that's something that is the fuel for beginning the journey of everything and also sustaining it. I feel like we all speak about the beginning, but we're not speaking about how we're making things run. Because you can start something, but what about like watching it watching it reach another level, taking it to another level as well. So I feel like without passion, nothing's possible. And you're so right when you said that it's so infectious, because I've seen like when you have that sparkle in your eye when you speak about something, or you're sharing some kind of knowledge, or you're educating somebody about something, and you are truly passionate about it, and you've learned it from the right sources, it reaches the right spots. It definitely reaches where it's supposed to reach. That's one short way. That's why I resonated with it so much. Thank you for those beautiful words.
Thanks, Karishma.
So, Devendra, it's been so nice to have you in this episode. Thank you for sharing the journey about Prolicious. Thank you for giving your insights about the health industry, right? Asking the right kind of questions at the right time is so important, because, as you said, a lot of people want to do a lot of things, But when we finally get to implementing it, somewhere down the line, we need, as you mentioned, we need good mentors, we need the right kind of research team, we need the right kind of passion, and we kind of need to, constantly keep innovating and use that little bit of insight that we get from daily experiences, the way that you picked it up from your friend and you're like, this is a nice idea to kind of implement and give it to people. So I think this entire episode has been very informational. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Karishma. Thanks for having me here. This was actually my first ever podcast. So, really grateful for having been here with you. Thank you so much.
I'm glad that it was your first time here. Many more to follow for you and for me both. But I'm very happy that this is your first time. And thank you for being such a nice guest on this show.